So whether you want to start or grow an existing hunting show, let's talk about that today. Before we talk about how to get into it, let's think about how hunting shows looked, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 years ago. They were just on television, normal. So it was very difficult to get your own hunting show. Therefore, those shows also had a lot more impact for sponsors and such. So YouTube just kind of getting started back then. Some people were growing really fast, but it was definitely very, very amateur type of videos to start. Now they're starting to get to where you can produce a really, really finely made video here on YouTube. And what's interesting is now the television side of things has really, really dropped down. What most people didn't understand at the time was they thought that if you were a good hunter that you would get on TV. Like you just had to tell the TV network, hey, I'm a great hunter. Look at all this stuff I shot. You should film me. I would be great. And people never seemed to understand back then that those hunters had to pay for that TV space. There were a few, like, as that progressed and you had like the outdoor channel, they would have regulars that now all of a sudden they could work a different deal. But your average guy that wanted to start a show, he didn't just get a deal to put his shows on there because TV liked him. He had to pay for that space. So now we fast forward to today, and we have video platforms, specifically YouTube, but now even Facebook that has longer form videos. A lot of shorts now, now you can't do the hunting videos, not with any kill shots on TikTok, but you can on Facebook and you can on Instagram. And I suppose you can on Twitter, but there's not a whole lot going on there, at least at the moment. And basically, everybody now has access to this free platform. And so because of that, a lot of people have wanted to start their own hunting shows, because now it's just as simple as grabbing a camera, hitting record, and going out and doing their hunts. And I know because I do the same thing at the Hunt Primitive YouTube channel, so we go out and film a lot of those hunts. So when I was really getting into wanting to do this, of course I'm a primitive guy. I want to hunt with primitive stuff. And I specifically remember, this will be a chapter in the future book, which I'm writing anyway, and it's a combination of hunting stories along with a lot of life lessons and business and financial lessons, a lot of things mixed together. But in this one chapter, I talk about how I thought for sure, because there had already been, and this is a very important point, I thought because there had already been a couple, let's call them viral videos on YouTube that were early videos, okay, I went and made a bow and I shot a deer, and then it got, 1 million views. Well, it was a lot easier to get the views way back then. As soon as the people started coming in and there wasn't as much competition, you could get a lot more views on a fairly mediocre video. So I thought, well, this already has these amount of views, and I'm starting, working in my business. I should probably, this is my opportunity now to have my own show. I should do a build and a hunt video, and then surely it would get 1 million views. And then once I got 1 million views, I would probably be rich, because I would just be selling all of this stuff all of the time. And that's the way that most of our brains tend to work. We seem to somehow draw a correlation between views or subscribers and money, and typically those two actually don't correlate very well. In fact, different video for a different day. I think a lot of people nowadays, they focus so hard on getting the view or getting the subscriber that that's their main focus rather than actually making money. And so they leave so much real money on the table because they're chasing a vanity metric, which would be the view or the subscriber. Now, I'm not saying that views or subscribers are not important, because they certainly are, but if you're focused solely on gaining the viewer and the subscriber, then you're probably actually hurting yourself in the long run. But we'll go into that deeper in a different video way on down the line. But I wanted to round that in so you understood it, because now with everybody having access, that they just got a camera and then go out and shoot video, now the market is completely flooded. Okay, so That's right. I wanted to circle back to me talking about me making this video and getting 1 million views and I was going to be rich and famous, right? So, of course, I made the video. I spent a tremendous amount of time on the video. Finally got a deer killed on camera. It was the very first one I ever did. It's my Snakewood video. And I uploaded it and it did like nothing. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, something's broken, something's wrong. I love this video and I put so much into it, and it's just like these other videos that got 1 million views. Why isn't mine? And I was blasting it, spamming everybody, just sharing it on every social media page over and over and over. Like, you guys must not be watching this for some reason. Like, nobody's watching. Look how cool this is. You need to watch it. And I think so many of us, when we're brand new creators, grow through that. But the reason that it didn't take off and grow right then, it was a slow burn, and then later I got some more viral type videos. But the reason that it didn't grow is because the competition had already started to increase, and also people had already seen it. It wasn't as novel because it wasn't something that was brand new. Things that are brand new that nobody's really ever seen before are typically the things that are gonna get the clicks and the views. So now fast forward all the way, to 2024, 2025, and everybody has their own hunting show on YouTube now. So it is tremendously flooded, and realistically, aside from the individual personalities, all these shows are typically structured the same. Okay, I'm here at my truck and I've got my camo on, and then I've got this stuff and I'm going to use this product. They don't sponsor me for it, but they probably should, ha ha ha. And I'm going to go out and sit up in a tree stand, and I'm going to wait, and a deer's going to walk by. And my cousin, who owned a taxidermy shop in Montana, used to have a TV, and he used to watch old westerns, or listen to old westerns and stuff while he worked. And so when he wasn't around, I'd put on a hunting show, and I always said, I wonder why he doesn't have like the hunting shows on while he's working, in here. That seems like it would be fun. And I remember him saying, he's like, well, you can leave it on, it doesn't matter. He goes, but how many ways can you watch a white-tailed deer getting shot? It's just the same thing over and over and over. And he was absolutely correct. And it didn't hit with me as much at the time, but now I look back on that going, we're seeing the same content every day. And realistically, nobody really cares about you going and shooting a deer. Even if it's a big buck, they might click it to just fast forward to see the big buck, but for the most part, big bucks have kind of turned into a me too. Okay, so it's like, oh, you got a big buck? Yeah, me too. Seems like everybody does. Or, oh, you've got a YouTube hunting show? Yeah, me too. Everybody does. So you get to where there's so much to watch, and I think because we've seen it over and over and over, you get a little core group of followers that do like your videos. They like you probably more than anything, and so they just enjoy your content. Or you've got some that you're sending them out to a whole bunch of people, and then some of your friends are clicking on them and giving you a view and a thumbs up and a comment and all that, but you're not really seeing the growth, and it's just because it's just been played out to death. So when you're wanting to grow that channel, or you're just going to start a channel, think of the people that are doing really well now. Okay, so you could come up with a handful of people for sure. And you're going to find that consistency is really important, but they not only put in quite a bit of time into their production value, but they also have a personality that people really just like. There's something that the person's really funny. He's got something about him that it's like the interaction with friends, or you're watching a journey, especially like some guys that I've seen their channels, the production quality is not great, but they're a very likable person, and maybe they're younger, and people tend to want to root for them, if that makes sense. But then you take a guy that's maybe middle-aged or so, nobody really wants to root for him so much, and you're out there just shooting deer. It doesn't really matter how many you shoot. They're just like, yeah, we've seen it. We've already seen it. So the reason that people are specifically watching a channel is because they like the story, and I don't mean the hunting story, I mean the character story, the person that they're watching. There's something about them that is drawing the crowd. I found that it's far less to do with the actual animal itself. Sometimes it is. If you shoot something kind of neat or whatever, you can get some clicks on that. But in the grand scheme of things, everything's been done already. So at this point, it's more personality based and also consistency based. But also, are you able to teach or inspire other people to get out and do something? So like the Hunt Primitive YouTube channel, that was always entertain, educate, and inspire. And entertaining, it was like I was drawing the crowd in to entertain them with the hunt. And although I'm not necessarily the biggest, bubbliest, best personality, it could be just entertaining enough, especially when I finally let down my guard around the camera and I just acted myself. And then I would say some stuff that was silly sometimes, and I wasn't afraid to show that. Then also the education side of it, where I am teaching people how to build their own hunting gear and then go hunt. So they're gaining value from my channel because I am teaching them how to do it for themselves, right? And then inspire, that rounds it right back in to say, you guys can do that too. If I was able to do this, then you should be able to, whether you need to buy stuff or whether you need to build stuff or any mixture of those things, you can go out and you can do this too. And a lot of people took that and said, excellent, I do want to go do that. And it's turned into a lot of fun for them. Some have made their own channels and some have not made their own channels. They just simply do it for fun. But the reason that people were following my channel was because of those three things, specifically the two, the fact that I'm inspiring people to want to pick this up and want to do it and want to try it. Maybe they're kind of tired of the normal, how many deer can you shoot with a compound or how many can you shoot with a rifle, to get to a point to say that primitive thing actually looks like it's probably pretty fun. I would like to at least give that a try once, and then they get into it. Next thing you know, they love it. Then the other side is now I am teaching them, so I'm giving them value. So this way, as they're going through their progression of wanting to know, like they're wanting to get their first deer kill, they're having different troubles along the way, or why aren't my arrows flying right, or why my bow seems really slow, or how do I make this new string. They could come to my channel and go to the search bar on YouTube and type in Hunt Primitive how to build cane arrows, or Hunt Primitive how to build a sinew bowstring, or Hunt Primitive how to nap scary sharp arrowheads. And so it became a source of reliable education that people could come back to over and over and over, and essentially learn how to build the entire process in individual videos. So it gave a tremendous amount of value that people kept wanting to come back. And then as I would show the hunting videos, which then became exceptionally important, because as I show people I'm building this product, of course there's a bunch of knuckleheads in the comments that are like, well, yeah, but this stuff doesn't, this is all cute artwork, but this isn't really hunting. You can't kill stuff with this. I used to hear that stuff all the time. It was amazing. It's like, of course you can. So then I was like, oh, well, now I have to go out and I have to continue to do these hunting videos to show them. Because if you have one or two, they're like, well, yeah, you're lucky, or it's staged. I remember people saying that it was photoshopped in some of the earlier stuff. I'm like, dude, I don't have the technology to do that. Honestly, even today, I don't have the technology to completely fake an arrow flying into a deer. And if I did, I would spend so much time doing that, I would might as well just go ahead and go kill the deer. Authenticity is going to win at the end of the day. Can't wait till AI gets a hold of all this, and now you don't have to watch real people do it. Then it's going to destroy all the allure, and nobody's going to want to watch hunting shows at all. But anyway, so that being said, me being able to show people that I was using all of this stuff because they wanted to use it as well, proving that its efficacy, that it was an efficient way of hunting, because for a long time people thought if you shot stuff with stone points, it performed very, very badly, and you had to track them for days and you had to pin cushion them and stuff. And that can happen in really inefficient scenarios or bad shots, just like with anything. But we were able to take in these videos and show people specifically through the builds and the hunts, this is how you build it, but this is also how you use it, and you use it very, very efficiently. And that really has changed the world of primitive hunting, because something that was once looked down upon, now more and more and more people are realizing that if done correctly, it works really, really well. So of course, then as this has continued to grow, all of those videos continue to work because other people come by, they find they're getting into it because now somebody else is getting them inspired to try it. They come in, they check out the video. So what I'm basically getting at here, which I think you should have figured out already, is that if you give value in your channel and a reason for people to come back, as opposed to just saying, well, okay, it's November 6th, it's 7:22 a.m. It's like, I don't know, it's cold, I can see my breath. We're in like the big buck stand and we're hoping Charlie comes out. And yeah, it's like 72 degrees. The wind is out of the northwest. It'd be like, nobody really cares. You're not giving a value. And it's how many ways can people watch an animal die? You know what I mean? So think about what you can bring now to your channel. What is it that you can bring? Whether it's a really funny personality, but maybe it's a story, right? So some people have also taken that platform and said, you know what? Some people want to see almost like a full circle of here's my hunt, like catch and cook, right? So they'd go out and they would shoot something, and then I'm going to bring it home and I'm going to show you how I'm going to cook it or how I'm going to process it to freeze it, package it for later, and show you all these different recipes. So they're rounding it in to at least then somebody can say, you know, now I got the animal and I want to eat it, but I don't really like the way that this tastes like this. You're giving somebody value and you're teaching them something else in addition to entertaining them. So think about how you can give value and teach somebody something in addition to just going out and doing your hunting films, and then that is a good way that you will probably grow your channel and also, or grow a channel from nothing. But also, last note before I let you go, think about your film quality should improve as you continue. At first, the film quality is not going to be great, and you're going to be filming it on like a cell phone or a cheap camera. And then as time goes on, you should be researching more into better cameras. I'm not saying you have to go out and buy a $2,000 camera right off the bat, because you shouldn't. But as your channel grows, you should also be growing your technology, your camera gear, your editing software, and your edits should get better and better and better. And you should be doing less and less and less hard jump cuts or cutting off of music or music that's way too loud and blaring. In fact, I think we're moving away from a lot of people not using much music at all, except for a couple people. November South, he's really good because he writes the music. That is his music, so that is part of his brand. There's another great story, right? So he is unique in that way in his videos, especially his shorts, that he is using the music that he writes and sings in the videos of him working on his primitive build and hunt projects. So very unique. Again, it's like it's not been done because he's a musician and he's a builder and a hunter. So think about that moving forward, and hopefully this video has given you some value. If it did, maybe share it with somebody else that they can get value from it as well, and we'll catch you on the next one.